Welcome into K-State Online. I am Mason Voth. That is Drew Galloway. Monday, August 11th. We are 1 week away from entering game week. So when we come to you next Monday, we're going to have real fun stuff to talk about. We kind of have fun stuff, and this is the signal that we're really close to the season starting. Last week, it was the losers known as the coaches that gave out their poll, the fake poll. You can't trust anything the coaches say regarding football. You have to rely upon the people that really know what's going on, the true ball knowers in the community, the AP, the journalists. Even though at some point during the year, whether it's football or basketball, I will badmouth the AP, but I do respect their poll much more. And it stings when K-State comes in lower on the AP than the coaches because it's like, well, the AP is what I trust. And some people say, well, that's crazy. These guys aren't doing it. None of these guys ever played. Let me tell you something. You think that Chris Kleiman is sitting down on a Sunday morning and thinking, well, we just got beat last night. Another year that we lost to Iowa State, but I need to sit down and I need to really lock in to see, should I have Boise State here at 16? Is Louisville a top 25 team? Let me go through all these results. He doesn't care. These coaches aren't really filling it out. It's somebody else. And if they are, they're just giving pieces of candy out to their best friends in the industry and going like, well, I like this guy. He's typically got a good team. I'm going to push him up a little bit. Coaches poll is crap. If you ever reference the coaches poll, I know you're a loser.
They should call the coaches poll like
the loser poll,
the SID poll, because no actual coach is doing.
And I would respect it more if they did, because I've met enough SIDs that I respect. Now there is one very particular SID that I do not respect, but typically that's because you need to be good at your job for me to respect you. And so if, say, your team doesn't show up to a media availability and you say, hey, we're going to make it up to you. We're going to get coach on with you next week. Just get back to me. Here's my email. Okay. And then I send an email and you don't ever respond to that. I go, all right, well, whatever. And then I try again just before the season starts and I don't get an email back. And then I try again during your bye week. And again, I don't get an email back. Yeah, I'm going to probably say that you suck at your job. This team, this school, they shall remain nameless. But just know that I would have already had a predestined hate of this school. And this just reinforced all of my beliefs that are typically there for this school. And look, I was going out of my way as the Kansas State grad hosting a radio show in Wichita, Kansas. I went out of my way to try to make this happen. I don't care about this school. Most would assume that I don't like this school. And you say, oh, okay, well, it seems like there can only be a couple of options there. Was it Wichita State? You really dislike those guys? No, believe it or not, let me step up right here. I think the Wichita State athletic department and their sports info department are phenomenal to work with. Very accessible. They're great to talk to. Shout out to Brent Kimnitz. I mean, that's a guy that makes you rethink all the shocker hate that's in your body. And then I see their fans and I go, no, it's okay. It's warranted.
When you said bye week, that like immediately eliminated Wichita State, though.
Well, they've been on a bye week since like the 80s, so it could have been them.
That instantly eliminated Wichita State. But I get your point. It's pretty obvious, I think, if you know who it is. They famously were not at a media availability at a couple, I think, was it 4 years ago now?
Yes, it was. It was because it was the very first one for somebody in their program. So you would have thought that maybe you'd want to be there. And I get it, bad weather happens, but maybe you plan a little bit ahead. I don't know. That's a lot of logistical stuff there. Heaven forbid you figure out how to get to a certain location for one of the crown jewel events for the conference that you belong to. Won't say what conference it was. It could have been any of them out there. A lot of ones to choose from. But yeah, there you go. That's the rant on SIDs and when I'm comfortable to throw a certain place. Oh, by the way, it was the University of Kansas and their football sports information department. So there you go. Bunch of hacks. Okay. Now they probably won't approve my credential come October. Boo-hoo. Guess I'm going to have to go to my friend's wedding. All right. That's a joke. I will be skipping their wedding to be at this game, folks. Let's get on to the preseason top 25. Kansas not in it. So their SID staff got to do what they're good at, and that's sit on their hands and do nothing today because they didn't have to put a release out there because their team's not in the top 25. The Kansas State Wildcats are. They are the number 2 team of the Big 12 teams that found themselves ranked. 3 others are in this top 25. Arizona State is at number 11. And then as you go further down the list, Iowa State comes in at number 22. The Cyclones have now been ranked in 15 of the last 16 AP polls dating back to last season. So it will be a top 25 matchup in Dublin to start the college football year. And then Texas Tech makes an appearance at number 23. And this is how you know it's been a while since your team has been in the top 25. The Texas Tech logo was not appearing on the AP website when it was first posted. Same thing happened to K-State. If you go back a few years in year 1 of Jerome Tang, when they shot all the way up into like the top 10 out of nowhere, there was no Power Cat next to the name for a little bit. They got it figured out. But those are the 4 teams ranked in the Big 12. And I know that we like to kind of have fun about the poll situation because it is pretty silly. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you just kind of want to be in it. And as the season wears on, it's going to figure itself out on where you belong. And we can argue about the placement and everything else at this point in time. 17 is a much more realistic spot for K-State. I don't have a huge issue with it. The only thing that I would say, and we brought this up last week, I don't think anybody should be confidently saying that any team in the Big 12, the margin between them and another is as big as the gap between Arizona State and K-State right now. And I think you could easily make the argument that K-State is returning in a fashion that is going to make there be smoother bumps to start the season than possibly Arizona State. I don't think Arizona State slips up early. I don't think they're going to be bad, but them losing Cam Scatteraboo and how much he meant to their offense is a lot different than K-State losing DJ Giddens because, number one, as I've pointed out since the Rate Bowl, I do think there's a world in which the K-State offense operates better with Dylan Edwards and Joe Jackson because of their skill sets meshing with everybody else than DJ Giddens. And on top of that, Dylan Edwards was at K-State last year. Joe Jackson was at K-State last year. Those guys thrived, played really well when they got their opportunities. Meanwhile, Arizona State is relying on a transfer from Army in Kanye Udo, and then a guy that was kind of just hanging out on the roster because you're going to put Cam Scatteraboo on the field 90% of the time last year. So that is just where I would go. I think Arizona State, I got no problem if they're ahead of K-State right now. They proved it last year. They bring back a lot. I get it. I don't think the gap should be 6 spots in the top 25.
No, and that was kind of my biggest issues with the coaches poll was that just feels a little too high compared to everybody else that's in the Big 12. I mean, 17 is probably closer to where I'd have K-State. So good to be in it. You always want to be in it because it's the one poll that I think is talked about the most.
So well, it's the one that puts the number next to your name on TV. So that's why it's important, especially to start the season.
Yeah, so this is like the AP poll that was talked about the most. So you want to be in it. 3rd straight year that K-State's been in the preseason top 25. But like you said, and we've both talked about this, I feel like at length, that's off season. No Big 12 team is like that much better than the next one that you'd have 6 spots difference. And I think the AP was on to something a little bit, but kind of dropped the ball when it came to like where they put Arizona State comparatively, because, you know, K-State 17, then you have Iowa State in there at 22, Texas Tech at 23, but then you also have BYU, Utah, Colorado, 26, 27, 28. So I think that they were kind of on to something, but you might have overcorrected a little bit on where you had Arizona State to begin, because I don't think that there's that much separation between any of those 7 teams that are in the top 28 to start the season, except BYU being that high is a little bit ridiculous to me. And that is how much of the offseason of BYU have you really been paying attention to if you're an AP poll voter? They're still in a 3-way quarterback competition right now, and nobody has really separated themselves from the pack yet between those 3.
And they're not like immediate oh, this guy's going to be really good players. There's a lot of
No,
question marks about any of the three of them.
no. So with that, like, you really gonna have them at 26 to start the season? And then I think that even with Jake Retzlaff, if he would have came back and been able to play at BYU, we highlighted them not like right as the season ended last year, but like they were a pretty clear like a regression candidate from what they were last year, along with Colorado. But uh, I am okay with this first AP poll. You want to be ranked in it. It's the first time since '02 officially that we'll have a consensus top 25 battle in week 0, which is fun. Third time in series history, I believe, that K-State and Iowa State will both be ranked at the same time. So a lot of fun. This is the poll that gets talked about the most. So again, having K-State in it is good. Having the Big 12 actually ends up having more teams in the top 28 than the Big 10 did. So that's something that they can really hang their hat on. But we're so close to like none of this truly mattering, and we actually get to see it with our own eyes. That this is like I always say that there's like a few different starts to like what does the season look like. The first one is Big 12 Media Days, because then everybody really fully dives in. You get a little bit with the coaches poll, but to be honest, nobody really gives a crap about the coaches poll because like we've said, the coaches don't actually do it. AP poll day is like we are so close to the season because I've seen discourse about the AP poll that like all day today. None of that
Nobody
happened
cared
last
about.
week for the coaches poll.
Well, that's why the coaches had to put out their ballot, like 2-3 weeks before the season starts, is so people actually acted like they cared about it or
Oh,
wanted to talk about it.
and by the way, if you're over here, week 1 for college football is going to be incredible. We all know. But I feel like the K-State Iowa State game getting very overshadowed by what's going on in week 1 based on the first AP poll. Because like I said, this is going to be the first time that there's a ranked matchup on week 0 since 2002. And it feels like nobody is really talking about it. That's not either a Big 12 fan, or B, like somebody that covers the two teams.
Yeah. A couple of notes here. Only 5 ballots didn't have K-State on it at all. That's out of
Name
65.
them.
Okay, let me see if I can name them for the people out there. Look, it would not be like me to throw hardworking people in this industry under the bus without getting a good reason why they didn't do something that you would think that they would have done. I would have never have done that. Not even 10 minutes ago, I wouldn't have done that. But yes, Javon Edmonds, he may have not ranked K-State. Of course, John Wilner, that you know what. I mean, who could have guessed that John Wilner, Mr. Pac-12 victim guy himself, he's got Texas Tech at 11. He has Texas Tech as the highest ranked Big 12 team. They haven't done crap ever. Let's go on down the list. Kevin Carter doesn't list Kevin Carter's affiliation there yet. He must be a new voter. Let's see who else on here didn't rank the Cats. Those losers, those pieces of crap. Sean Ryder from the Albuquerque Journal. Come on, Sean. And then let's see. I might have missed a couple in there, but anyways, that's
Honestly,
how it shapes up.
When you had the number, I thought you were dialed with the names. So
Oh, here we go. I got him. Yes, John Wilner, Greg Madia, Sean Ryder, Javon Edmonds, and Kevin Carter. There you go.
I've
I
only heard of one of those people before.
15 of the 65, so 15 of the pollsters had K-State higher than Arizona State on their ballot. If you want to know who those people are, well, one of them is our chief ball knower at On3, Mr. Brett McMurphy, as we talked about. He's getting a thumbs up on College Poll Tracker from me for that one. He had K-State at 13. He actually had Utah as his second highest ranked Big 12 team at 17, and Arizona State at 20. He also had Texas Tech in there at 23. And then also a shout out to Brenna Green from KOIN TV in Portland, Oregon. I didn't realize that they knew ball in the Pacific Northwest. She doesn't have K-State higher than Arizona State, but she gets the shout out here, Drew. because she did exactly what we're talking about. She has ASU at 12 and K-State at 13. So, like, I don't even need to look at the rest of her poll to know that she got it right, where I would say, yeah, if you wanted to give the edge to the reigning Big 12 champs that return a lot of key pieces, including a really good quarterback and an elite receiver and all this other stuff, and you want to have them a spot above K-State, I think that's perfect. I'm not even going to look at the rest of her rankings. I don't want my opinion of Brenna to be spoiled. Although I did just see she's got Illinois at 10. So just for that and for the Alec Bussey love, I'm gonna bump her down actually in my thoughts there. But yeah, that's just a little bit more along the alley of what I'm looking for in this. But overall, it's fine. I think it's probably just where K-State belongs. And like you talked about, we are a week away from this really not mattering. And certainly by the time you get to the middle of the season, you just start to look at the college football playoff poll. And as long as K-State is playing well, historically, the CFP has been really kind to K-State and Chris Kleiman.
K-State every year, I think outside of 2020, has been ranked in the CFP poll.
Yeah, and honestly, the only time that I would have an issue with the CFP poll is the 2022 season after they won the Big 12 and they let Utah jump K-State in that final poll after Utah beat USC and K-State had just, ended the season. Well, not end the season because they got to play for the national title still, but prevented them from winning it and going unbeaten. But like they beat number 3 TCU and you're still, I don't know. That was the only one I was like, because I think that squeezed K-State out of the top 10 going into that Sugar Bowl, which we knew K-State wasn't going to win it, but I do think it would have been significant. You finish inside the top 10 of that, and you probably were deserving being the conference champ.
For half a second, it looked like the Sugar Bowl was going to go K-State's way.
It was more than half a second. It was about 13 minutes or something.
The play that I keep going back to isn't even like the Senate drop in the Sugar Bowl that like really changed the momentum and how the game felt. After Deuce Vaughn had that big 87-yard run that we talked about on the show a couple days ago. Shout out to all the people, by the way, that figured out why we talked about that Will Howard run. You guys are real ones. I had so many messages and tweets and DMs, all from people saying that they knew. Shout out to you guys. You guys pay attention to our show better than we do.
I was gonna say thanks for doing that.
Yeah. But I think Alabama had like a 3rd and 13. And Jameer Gibbs was in one-on-one coverage with Austin Moore and went for 65 yards.
3rd and 10 at the Bama 31, and Jameer Gibbs went for 60 yards.
Yeah.
So not great. And then K-State went out immediate 3 and out, and then the touchdown. And then I mean, an 18-play, 10.5-minute drive that Ben Sinnott drops a touchdown on 4th and goal that would have given K-State the lead. And then about 50 seconds later, Alabama's in the end zone and up 11 at halftime. And I still go back to Alec Bussey turning to me after Deuce rips off the big touchdown and going, he's like, this is over. K-State's going to win this thing. Alabama doesn't want to be here. And I was like, And then we found out the only SEC coach that didn't subscribe to that was Nick Saban, which, should probably be a lesson to all coaches moving forward, that if you're not going to take it seriously and you are going to use the, we didn't want to be here excuse, that was a guy with every reason in the world to act like a non-playoff game was beneath him, and he didn't do it. And it just is so K-State that everybody opts out of bowl games now. And the only school that didn't was Alabama, where Bryce Young was like, I could be the number 1 pick, but I'm going to play.
And Will Anderson, they both played. They were both of the top 2 picks in the NFL draft that year, and they both played in the Sugar Bowl when they didn't have to. Now I'm 100% with you. I'm going to set the world on fire here. And say,
real quick, just so we are we're clear here on what the situation looked like in that game for K-State. Alabama players that were drafted in 2023. Bryce Young played in that game. Will Anderson played in that game. Jameer Gibbs played in that game. Let's see, Henry Tuoto, he played in that game. Like all these guys, I don't know that any of them did. They have any opt outs that year?
They had 0 opt outs that year. But my setting the world on fire take: if you're not going to take a bowl game seriously, don't even show up. No, there are teams now that will opt out of bowl games. Period. If you're not going to take the bowl game seriously and are just kind of using it as like we didn't want to be here, don't even go.
Yeah, I just confirmed. Alabama had 10 players drafted in 2023. So that season, none of them opted out of the Sugar Bowl that year. Meanwhile, K-State had opt out from the Rate Bowl last year. It's like, which I get to some extent, but and that's lesser certainly than a Sugar Bowl, but it's just, your K-State versus Alabama. It's crazy. I don't know. One of those things.
Absurd how loaded that Alabama team was and that nobody wanted to take the Sugar Bowl off.
Yeah, it's how scared Saban was of Chris Kleiman, I guess. So
honestly, very refreshing though for that era, like of the 14 playoff.
Yeah,
like that to actually want to play.
I want to hit on, before we get out, just a couple general Big 12 things. You mentioned that of the top 28, there are, some other Big 12 teams on the overhang of this. BYU, Utah, and Baylor were all just outside. They got votes, but just missed out on it. Significant there for the opinion that those schools have in the Big 12. I'm with you though on BYU. Like, what are you doing hanging around there? Some of the other Big 12 schools that got votes in this thing, outside of those, TCU put up 4. Colorado got 1. I'd love to know who voted Colorado. I'm just guessing that you are best friends with Mark Jones. Maybe he has a vote. Maybe that's where it came from.
Could just be Mark Jones.
Army got 2 votes. So there you go. The Cats have Army on the schedule this year. I don't think they're actually going to be good. I think that was an uninformed vote that may have been floated out there. Let's see who voted for Colorado in this sucker.
I love the first 8 people for a number of reasons. Number one, it gets everybody kind of talking. Like the juice of college football being back is so much fun. But also the absurdity of how many teams get a preseason vote in the 8 people cracks me up.
Let's see. A sports anchor in Jacksonville, Florida got the Colorado vote out there. There you go.
There was 50 teams received at least 1 vote in this 8 people.
The same voter had Oregon number 1 on his ballot. He was the only person to vote Oregon number 1. Let's see. He had Georgia at 8, which is a little off. He had Oklahoma at 9. They're actually 18 in this sucker. He had Clemson at 11. They're 4th, and they got 4 first place votes, but he's got them at 11. He's kind of insane all over the place. He is one of the guys, though, that had K-State ahead of Arizona State, but he has Utah as his highest ranked Big 12 team. So it's just fun to kind of go and look and see how all of these are assessed and where they're at. Also, most people probably won't be surprised to find out that the man, the myth, the legend, Kirk Bohls, had K-State rather high at 13, but he is kind of a traitor. What?
The stud of all studs.
Yeah, he kind of is a traitor, though. He had Iowa State at 11 this year. And there were 4 people that actually had K-State higher than what Kirk Bohls had him this year. So tough, including Randy Johnson. Not the pitcher, though. You might think he's out there always taking pictures. He's trying to be Mr. Media. No, this is some guy from Minneapolis. So thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Most insane thing that I see on here is actually Louisiana Lafayette receiving a vote.
You're not a Raging Cajun guy?
It's just the absurdity that they only got 1 vote. That's what's weird about it.
Yeah. There you go. That's a look at it this week. If you're trying to keep track of like what has happened locally, who you need to yell and scream at, I don't think you need to do it. Blair Kirchhoff has the Kansas City Star AP ballot this year. He had K-State 15th. They're 3 spots off of Arizona State at 12. I think that's fine. I look at his ballot. I think it's probably fairly reasonable. The key there, if you had K-State ahead of Indiana on your ballot, I'm going to also give you a nod because get over the Indiana stuff, people. Anyways, anything else to add on this fine Monday, Drew?
We're so close to the season starting. My family actually leaves for England and Scotland on Saturday, which is absurd that like we're that close now.
Little Home Alone situation. Drew's getting left behind by his family as they take off without him. He doesn't live with his family anymore, but you know.
I was gonna say I still get there before my wife does, but she gets there on Friday and we get there on Thursday. So
take that.
And then the one thing that I have planned out so far, because we don't really have a schedule yet, taking my whole family again, doing the Guinness tour Friday at 9:30 in the morning.
Best time of the day to drink beer. I've always said it.
That was like literally the only time.
Okay, well, we've got time here. Do you want to try to beat the media guide? I also want you to be aware I have another game. I have a couple of games that I want to run by you that I'm kicking around that will make occurrences. One that I had the idea of doing was throughout the season, we call it top 25s. And so each week we would give a different top 5 of something. Instead of a top 25, we have 20 top 5. So the top 25s that we can think of. But there are some other things that I want to get into. I started kicking this around because I will be spending one of my days in Ireland Friday doing a lot of radio activities, I believe. I have to do Power Cat game day with the crew on Friday now because of a late arrival by somebody, not Mitch Fortner.
It can't be a Mitch because Mitch has got to be there for wrestling.
And then get ready. I'm tentatively going behind enemy lines on. Actually, I think it's Thursday when we land. Like 3 hours after we land, it'll be 6 a.m. back Central Time when this gets going. Noon over there. I will be co-hosting for 3 hours in the morning a radio show with Alec Bussey in Des Moines, Iowa. So,
oh God!
Yeah.
After that flight, good luck.
So I'm excited for that. I told him, I said it could get tight. He's like, well, we'll just see what happens. So there you go. We are going to see what happens. Anyways, let's get on with this and let's do a little beat the media guide.
Also, Thursday's show going to be a lot of fun. There's a tease for everybody out there.
Oh yes, well, fun for some, long for others. You may not care. I don't know. Tune in, check it out, get a good idea of what's going on there. Okay, let's play the music. I about played the wrong one. I don't know what night driving is. That's just one of the auto-generated songs. You want me to play it? See what it is?
Yeah, let's do some night drive music.
Can you hear it?
No. Oh, now there we go.
That's terrible. This is called Feeding the Ducks. Okay, I don't like any of those. We got to get our music going here. Okay. You got a category you want to go offense, special teams?
We'll go offense, but the music is too loud.
Too loud? See, that's the thing, is that it was too loud for our tense music. But then when you use the StreamYard user generators, auto-generated ones, it's not okay. I was in the defense. I was in special teams. Get out of that. Let's get to the real men that play football, the offensive guys. Okay. So we've done some fun ones here recently with, big yardage and whatever else. Do you want to tell me who all the players are that have the tie for the most touchdowns caught in a game at K-State are?
Okay.
There are. Let me just go over this for you. There is 9 people on this list, I believe. So that's like genuinely 9 different answers that are going to be here. There are a few other occurrences that take place. But yes, I believe I counted correctly. So you can go ahead and whenever you're feeling frisky.
We're going to start hot with Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett did it 3 times, which, again, the number is 3. Any idea what games he did it in?
One was the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl.
Yeah, shout out B-Dubs Bowl.
I'm going to say one was against TCU.
Nope. West Virginia was one of them. And then Oklahoma in 2013. All 3 of these were the 2013 season, which may be shocking to some, maybe not to others. But yeah, 2013, he did it 3 times that season.
How do you have a receiver have 9 touchdowns in 3 games and you still can't throw more than 24 touchdowns in a season?
It does kind of bend your brain a little bit, doesn't it?
Darnell McDonald.
Yep, he did it in the game that we watched already this year against Syracuse in the 97 Fiesta Bowl.
I mean, this always feels like a safe guess, but Kevin Lockett.
No, not Kevin Lockett.
What about Jordy?
Jordy Nelson did it 1 time at Oklahoma State in 2007.
Now we're going to go Michael Smith.
Also a good one to throw out there. He did it in 1991 in Ames, Iowa against Iowa State.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I always forget about him because I always bring up the other 2. And sometimes it's burnt me. Is Aaron Lockett on here?
It's going to burn you again, but for a different reason. He's not on this list.
Okay, well, the ones that he is, I get so pissed that
it's the return yards. Anything that could factor in return yards, you got to think Aaron Lockett.
Okay. Now we got to be a little bit more selective because we only have 3 spots left or 3 guesses left.
Also, real quick, shout out to the old Tulsa Country Club today. My brother got me this shirt, not for a discount, but
not for a discount.
Yeah.
We're also gonna go Quincy Morgan next.
That's also typically a good guess for something like this. Maybe surprisingly, only did it once against Ball State in 2000.
So he had 23 career touchdowns. Because I was looking at this a couple days ago. He had 23.
Cheating?
Well, I'm sorry that I'm preparing myself. But he had 23 career touchdowns, but only did that once. That's crazy. Another one that I thought of, because he just has a high touchdown number, period, is James Terry.
James Terry, also a good guess. He is on the list. He did it in 2003 against Baylor.
And then this is where it gets tough.
Let me give you kind of a rundown of maybe some possibilities that you could throw out there of guys that you have left. One of these guys was pre-Snyder.
Oh boy.
One of these guys, I'm going to say 2 things when I say who it was and who he did it against that you would say, oh, I could eat those things for a meal. And then another guy that also has a food in his name, he also did it. So,
okay, one of them I think has to be Taco Wallace.
Oh no, that's wrong. Wow. No, you could have gone with Byron Pringle at Oklahoma State in 2017. Yeah. You also, Drew, could have gone with Jimmy Dean, who did it against Rice in 1996.
Who was the pre-Snyder one?
John Williams against Austin Peay in 1987.
That is not a real person.
Well, his career football-wise, I don't know that worked out, but he did go on. You know, he did the Star Wars soundtrack, Indiana Jones, all of those. So John Williams had a nice and long career. Different John Williams, unfortunately. Would that be the most famous Kansas State alum of all time if that John Williams had gone to K-State?
Yes.
Well, you gave it a good go today. We'll cut it short there, and let's see what that's 6 points you got out of 9. I'm actually glad that you went with Taco Wallace there. That made my hint not seem as easy because I thought it for sure, like Byron Pringle, I thought would come to your mind. If I had said, but I don't know, like, you're aware that Jimmy Dean was the name of a player at K-State, right?
No.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, the name I've known it before. So like if I had said, yeah, they didn't. This is what they tried serving us for a meal at Tulane this year.
I would have 100% gotten that.
Okay.
Yeah, when they said that, the SID's wife like makes the food, and then there was actually just a Jimmy Dean breakfast.
Well, no, she made some of the other snacks and treats in there. I'm not gonna badmouth Tulane for that. I thought they were incredibly accommodating. I thought it was a very good setup for the situation. I'm not going to badmouth Tulane. I saved that for one SID and one SID only.
The situation?
Yeah, that was the situation. Okay, that'll do it for today's show. For Drew Galloway, I'm Mason Foth. We'll be back again tomorrow. We're probably only going to talk football from here on out because it is right on the doorstep. We will be in Ireland next week. We will have a game to talk about next Saturday, and we will have a lot of stuff to get to from now and then. So we will be back tomorrow. More football Wednesday. Also that Thursday, the long-awaited return of Derek Young to the KSO show. He will be here for whatever it is that we're doing that Drew's excited about. And then Friday, KSO Classic, where we look back at the 2011 season, which had close game after close game to discuss. So we are out of here. Thanks for watching the KSO show.